Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you. So microtonality is a small part of my work, and since our last symposium, I worked more on my research, instrumental techniques interchange, or in my graphic works, still life with silence, maybe in this kind of works. Some of you might know. But then on microtonal works actually in these 2 years. But nevertheless, microtonality has been a little part of my work for now 25 years. I mean, can you hear? Okay. Can you give us some thumb ups? Maria, can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly.
Thank you, Maria. Just to make sure. Okay, so microtonality, I was saying microtonality has been a little part of my work for now 25 years. I just realized this week how time can pass. This is actually the first time in our Small is Beautiful in which I will talk about my own ideas. And I would present some examples of my compositions showing the evolution in a retrospective way, explaining about decisions I took as a composer. So, okay. So around 95, 96, okay, I need to, Maria, can you maybe switch the cameras off when, okay, I got it. Can you take care of that, maybe?
Take care of what? Sorry?
Of, microphones and cameras. I cannot do this.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I was saying around 1995, 1996, I was studying guitar in Seville when I read John Schneider's book, The Contemporary Guitar. Each chapter about my microtonal guitars really
Now it's working.
Okay, yes, thank you, Maria. So back then, 1995, 1996, I had no internet, everything was really slow. But at that time, also, being a student at the end of my studies there at the Sevilla Conservatoire, I couldn't afford to buy a microtonal guitar, nor I could learn actually new skills for my left hand. So I was not even considering to study composition at all, but I decided to change the strings of an old guitar and try out microtonal tunings. And so actually, I'd like to show you, so this was the situation of some of the guitars, I mean, similar guitars that I saw. So in front of these, I wanted so bad to try microtonal music on the guitar. I was really too curious about it. And that was the possibility that John Schneider was wrote on the contemporary guitar. So I tried several intervals just by ear. I don't even remember how long these explorations took me, and I loved the sixth of a tone produced on 6 equal G strings. It seemed quite logical and beautiful to me back then. My guitar professor was so mad at me when I showed her because it meant actually distractions from my final recital from my Título Superior. So I was kind of hiding my explorations, but I wrote a small piece called Solsticio Microtonal in 1996, and which I will show later with the notation. Okay, close here. I have to mention that Madame Pascale Criton, she was mentioning about the piece Retourner et le Galop, written in 16th of a tone, using kind of this scordatura tuning in 4 of the strings in this piece. that she wrote for Didier Assur in 1996. I really need to talk to her about this piece to understand the discourse in this microtonal scordatura. Yeah. So actually, I have to mention that something happened in my way. 4 years later, I found myself at the Guildhall School of Music in London and showed my professor Robert Brightmore the Momento Microtonal 1, which I wrote 1 year before. And I was tremendously lucky that he was so fascinated about the sonorities as I was. He encouraged me to enlarge the piece with 2 other movements. But even luckier, I was in 2005 here in Salzburg when I met Gertraud Steinkogler-Wurzinger, a colleague from the society, and told me about the Ecmelic Society. Ever since, I have been involved in microtonal projects, creating new pieces, mainly in 36-Edo. So I kept using the 36-Edo on G strings, nylon, and I would like to show you a couple of examples of these sonorities. So this is Tres Momentos Microtonales, the first one that I showed Robert Brightmore. Can you hear, Maria?
We can hear.
Thank you. So this is the first example I wanted to show you, and also a little bit from the third, maybe from the third momento. Go a little bit. Okay, just I wanted to give you an insight how this 6 G strings tune in 36-Edo sound, and yeah. So to enlarge the register, because the thing is, one of the considerations that I had in my mind, so if you compress the register of the guitar to obtain the microtones in between, 2 extra notes in between, actually you lose the register of 3 octaves and a fifth on the guitar. So at some point, I wanted to keep exploring and enlarging the register that belonged to the guitar. So in 2005, there was a project here in Salzburg about to celebrate Mozart's year. So it was at the end of 2005. And so I was asked to write something after Mozart, and I was very interested in the choir piece, in the magic flute. I've never heard anything like this before in the piece Das klingt sehr herrlich, das klingt sehr schön. So actually, I wanted to create something that the audience could also think, you know, to transcend this concept to the reception to the perception of the audience. So that's why I wrote for one G string guitar, and the other one, the first guitar actually was tuned in 6 E strings, the high E strings, with the same tuning, of course, and so to write Das klingt sehr microtonalis. So this is a page of the manuscript, and I should come maybe here. It's also, there's also a recording, it's Tomband CD recording on the piece. So actually, so this is a little extract from this composition, Das klingt sehr microtonalis. And I was watching Siri Kone when I met Gertraud. Siri Kone, the guitar player from Israel, was playing the Tres Momentos in that concert when I met her. And I realized that guitar players who never played microtones at all, they could adapt to this system really, really well. I mean, they would need just one day. And actually on the CD, what I recorded was part of the rehearsals or the first impressions they had when they took this guitar. Like, I never played anything like this before. So I wanted to include this in the whole concept of the composition. So actually, so the register was a little bit bigger using these 2 guitars. But actually, if you want to get the real register of the guitar plus all the microtones in between, I wrote rubaiyats. I dedicated actually rubaiyats to my dear colleague Johannes. I wrote rubaiyats in 2008. So I would like to show you also a little bit how it sounds. Rubaiyats, actually, this tool of this microtonal guitar or this system, for me, is like a bridge between contemporary music and folk music from many regions. I'm not authentic acoustically with the music I'm imitating or I'm trying to communicate, but I'm getting very close, and this works for me as a bridge. And so these rubaiyats, the rubaiyats are Persian poems, very short ones, so it's inspired like this. So actually that's why rubaiyats, they are very connected to folk music. So I will give you, maybe around. Okay, so this was like a gathering of these 6 guitars, actually. And yeah, I'm sorry, some of the tracks are old and the sound quality is not the one we would wish. And unfortunately, I had, this piece was performed in Bruckner House in Linz, which is a great hall. But something happened and the recording was lost. Actually, I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, so actually I like to add that one of my favorite, so having these six different, so the system adapted to each string of the ordinary guitar. My favorite one is with six low six strings. I really love to play this guitar. You feel the huge vibrations in your chest. So this is such an experience. It's really like I say, this is like sound therapy. And for this one, I wrote some pieces, of course, Il Velo di Iside for Giacomo Fiore, this one that we can see in the screen. And then also I wrote El Canto de los Acantilados recently for Norio Sato and Gaku Yamada. This one, Il Velo di Iside, because of the concept of the piece, even that the guitar is really powerful, I was trying to use very delicate sounds anyway. So I need to... Here, more or less. Okay, so actually on this guitar, these vibrations, they produce a lot of overtones, and it's really a very nice atmosphere. And for this, I believe I have to stop sharing. I need to come to here. Yes, first this one. So I come back to you. And again, share screen. I hope with audio. Share sound, yes, optimize. And so this is El Canto de los Acantilados. So this is like the chant of the cliffs. Okay, I really admire them, and live. I mean, it's I love the resonance of using these guitars. When you hear it live, of course, in recording, you lose so much. Yeah, so I would like to continue. I'm coming back, I guess, stop share again and come back to the, and then share and come back here, optimize, okay. Yeah, so I will continue. And there was, you know, I spoke about this, why I involved myself with microtones, because of this book of John Schneider, and then because Robert Brightmore, and there was again what I call a lucky accident in 2014 that changed actually the path in my compositions with microtones. I was chosen because of my microtonal guitar to participate at the Creativity Stage Semana de Autor, organized by the SGAE, so the Composers Society in Spain. And the coordinator of the program, a very clever man, the producer Paco Loco, translated Francis Crazy, had the idea to put me together with the rock singer Pablo Undestrucción during this author's week to create something together. He wanted something, he said, you're too crazy both, you have to come together. And Pablo was even a few days away traveling and playing with his band, but 2 or 3 days before the concert in Malaga, I asked for an electric guitar to use 6 to adapt at least my system to the electric guitar. And that was amazing for me, actually, that was a moment for many of the compositions that came before. So we put a few pieces on the concert in these 2 days. Pablo was mainly reciting, a little bit of singing, including a little bit of improvisation. So to adapt myself to him, I was also more or less improvising. I mean, I had more or less my sketches, what to do, what to play, but then improvising quite a lot with this material. And I have to say, it was a fantastic experience. We got very good critics. And then after that, we played at Sala Galileo and at Café Berlin in Madrid. And then in some festivals around, I remember in the Composers Encounter in Mallorca and in some other places. I mean, it was a great surprise, actually. And we even managed 2 years later to record in Spain a CD for, we did the opera Por Todo el Fuego, something like this. But actually, we never released it because there were some things to work on and we still didn't do it. But because of this experience, many pieces came. Like I remember right after this project, a dear friend of mine, Pilar Rios, she came to a concert in Madrid at the Architecture Center in Madrid. Neo Percusión was playing and Juanjo Guillén was playing some of my music, I guess. And she came to the concert and she said, Agustín, would you ever try to play to write for electric guitar? And actually, when she found out, she was really surprised that I was already in love with this instrument. So I wrote for her Le Fait. Okay, unfortunately, I have to move on, and I would like to show you another piece, I mean, by Joseph Mirandilla again, the one who recorded the Tres Momentos and Sakura for Thai records. And for this, again, I have to go to internet, so I have to share this one. Sound in everything. So I wrote for him not so much ago, E-Spiritual. I mean, we were talking, Sam Cave was speaking about bells the other day, and I told him I was fascinated about bells and about sacred sounds or connected to rituals, connected to religion, connected to spirituality through metal, produced by metal instruments, bodies, actually, metal bodies. This is again like Luque, 6 histories. Yeah, like to move on. There are some other people to report on. Okay. If you want to ask later on about okay, stop share, then I go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so that was e-spiritual, and this one as well, of course, the Horseman. So I used 4 guitars. 3 of them were using this microtonal system for Buddy's Electric, and Dan Lippel was with us 2 days ago presenting, fantastic, about this Ken Buenos piece. And there's a passage where he plays, I mean, he's taking the microtones. Okay, so let's move on. I'm very happy that, I mean, yes, yesterday I received this cover from Danubius Ensemble. They just made a new CD, and I'm very honored that they are doing this, and it's gonna probably mean a few more microtonal pieces in the future. We have spoken about collaborations. And so I'd like to show you Das Lied in Anas. That was a commission from Walter Zauner, trombonist. Yes. Just to hear a little bit of context. So I wanted to also to show you that you can hear that this is Walter Zauner playing trombone, Basil Coleman playing harpsichord, and Yvonne Zenner, I say she's so good, she's playing two guitars at the same time, and both guitars are on the table. And from Yvonne Zenner and Walter Zauner, I would also like to show from the new CD, a version for trombone and microtonal guitar of They Are of Time, originally written for saxophone and guitar. I didn't believe myself that it was possible to make it work for trombone and guitar. This is done thanks to Yvonne. She knows, I say all the time, I mean, we've been working together for how many years now? 17 or so. So she knows even my music better than me sometimes. If I don't know if she's here, she's at the Halina Festival at the moment organizing it. But if I have any questions about my own music for guitar, I'll ask her. Okay, so sorry for the... Okay, I would love myself to keep hearing, listening to this beautiful interpretation by Walter Zauner and Yvonne Zenner, but I would also like to say something about notation. And for the first time, I'm going to show the manuscript of the first piece that I ever wrote. I kept it. I mean, I had it in a box here in Salzburg. I found it and I took this picture. And because to write, I created the first time, I was so excited about these microtonal guitars. I didn't know how to distribute the pitches. So what I used, I mean, you can see this. I don't know if, can you go high? I don't know how to make it bigger, sorry. Yeah, so I used three colors anyway, you list the colors, which I find kind of naive, of course. And so because of this, that I found this piece, I could see that I wrote it in 1996. Normally, I don't sign compositions. Luckily, I could keep the date that the composition was finished. So right after, like the Momentos Microtonalis, I decided to use kind of tablature, so to help the musicians. And in this tablature is different because it's only one line, and then of course you have the duration of the note. You have what kind of note is, how the pitch is produced, is a harmonic or a hammered note. I mean, different note heads. But actually, even maybe for other people, it's more difficult to understand how it sounds for guitar players, like in the piece Sakura that I wrote for Joseph Mirandilla. It's much easier for them. They really learned straight away. They don't need to practice that much with this microtonal guitar. I mean, ordinary guitar with the microtonal scordatura. And I would also like to, Yvonne, who is a very hard worker, I wrote this piece for her this year after a cantata de Santa Maria, a Cantica de Santa Maria by Alfonso X el Sabio. And she recorded it yesterday, actually. But so I'm very much looking forward to listen to it. So in Rubaiyat, again, I mean, sometimes with percussion lines, I used just a percussion line, treating the guitar as a percussion instrument. Otherwise, I used this transcription. If those sonetos, for example, for Gertraud Steinkogler-Wurzinger, that I wrote for singers or for conductors or for other people, when necessary, I write an oscilla line with pitches. Okay. Can you switch off your microphones? Thank you.
Un montón de gente, mira.
Can you switch off? ¿Podéis apagar los micrófonos, por favor? Okay. So, actually, for to plan microtones, María.
No puedo más.
Ah.
Tú eres el host ahora.
Ah, okay. Mute. No, mute. Okay. If you, yeah. Sorry, I get too distracted. It's been 5 wonderful but tiring days as well. Yeah, so actually as a composer, for me, it's important to decide what I want to use in the composition, which material. So I have many possibilities. I still hear some voices. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay.
No intro.
Can you switch off the microphones, please? Okay.
Tener vídeo.
¿Podéis desconectar los micrófonos, por favor, si no entendéis inglés? Gracias. Y así puedo seguir. Perdonad, ¿eh? Okay, so actually this composition, I'll show you one of the last ones. It's not, I don't use this chordatura system. I just plan, I do some deviations of the 6th of a tone, but just tuning the normal strings of the guitar. And in this piece, particularly, I'm retuning to the 12th Edo inside the composition. And in the third movement, actually, I also use a glissando going down, like in the piece we heard it Solizze yesterday, but actually it's happening just by going down with the tuning pegs. Okay, or otherwise, this instrument, I mean, my favorite tuning is 6th of a tone, but I can adapt this system to play together with Ivan Hernandez. He was here also 2 days ago. So I could tune these all G strings to quarter of a note, or serices where I use distribute different 6ths of a tone. Or this one is even a little bit different because also I work with the tension to obtain new colors. So actually to the low E of the guitar, the 5th, I go down to E plus 33, and the 4th very low till the same E plus 66. So it's really nice that you don't just have this cluster, but you also have different new colors because of different tensions. I like this very much in Harry and Son and some other compositions I wrote. And of course, okay, we have 6 minutes left. Of course, there are many other ways to use microtones on the guitar, but I just wanted to talk today about this very specific system. And if you have any questions, if you want to take a look at some scores or some articles, whatever, I just get in touch with me. And I thank you very much for being with me today. And I give now my colleague, sorry about the intruding. So we still have 6 minutes for questions. If anyone has some questions.
I think there will be. Especially to writing and scoratura or tabulatura.
Okay, no questions?
I wrote a little bit.
Yeah.
Peter?
Yeah, more easily. Can you tell me, because I don't have my glasses, can you just tell me, Ulf Tita?
Yes, I wrote, thank you. And for me, it's very interesting that I can perceive microintervals more easily if a reference tone or fundamental tone sounds at the same time.
Yes.
And then it was very wonderful music.
Oh, thank you. I really, you know, having the resonance, it's completely different that if you tune with like basic tones or having the open strings, having the normal tuning, which is gonna sound very much to E minor. So you're very attached to these sounds. Any questions? We still have 4 minutes.
One comment.
Okay, my colleague here.
I like very much the 36 Edo, and I wonder what's the border to recognize intervals very special, and I had the impression that it's good and it's possible in with third tones and 6 tones, of course.
Yes.
6 tones that are the 36. And there must be a border, it could not be smaller than that, very exactly to recognize, perhaps with an 8th tone, whereas there must be a border, and smaller, it's impossible. I cannot hear every pitch of Carrillo.
Yes. Well, also it depends how you use it in the composition, of course. I mean, I tried myself here in Salzburg, the 72 divisions because of Richterherf. And I have some sketches somewhere, but actually for me, this cluster, microtonal cluster, is a little bit too compressed for my taste. Probably because also I've been using the 36 for too long, and I also use the 8th tones. I mean, I remember at the beginning with this composition for Ivan, this commission from Ivan Hernandez, I wanted to try this 8th of a tone, but still a little bit compressed. So I think maybe in a guitar with 8 strings, it could. I mean, that would be a better instrument for this adaptation. Adaptation, yeah. Yes.
That's something you must construct one.
Yes. No. I mean, there are many 8 strings guitars and 10 strings guitars. I mean, there are many instruments. Yeah, we had this 7-string guitar. On one of the presentations by maybe Sam Cave. Yeah, Sam Cave was presenting this guitar as well. And maybe any one last question? We still have 2 minutes. Okay, I will try. I don't see so much on the chat sometimes. Normally I take a picture and I read it a little bit closer.
Early in the day.
Yes. Otherwise, I can say goodbye with yeah.
Yes.
Wait. I have to share screen. Okay, so thank you very much for being here with me, and I will give the moderation back to my colleague Johannes.
Thank you very much, Agustín. I think it was a brilliant performance of your works and you're coming to microtonal music.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And applause to you.
Thank you.
The next In our symposium will be Siegfried Steinkogler. He is a colleague of us and a guitar player and teacher, and of course as a composer. The theme he had chosen, that's Ludus microtonalis, a new method to learn the basics of microtonal music. It's about education. I will present Siegfried Steinkogler as a composer and guitarist, born 1968 and studied at the Mozarteum Academy Salzburg guitar with Barna Kovac, Elliot Fisk, and Joachim Clerc, as well as composition with Reinhard Febel and Gerhard Wimberger, and at the Real Conservatorio de Música de Madrid. He attended master courses with Alvaro Chieri, Aldo Minella, Leo Brouwer, and Nikolaus Harnoncourt. His work encompasses mainly orchestral works, vocal and chamber music with own lyrics, as well as music for guitar and harmonica. He wrote contract composition for the Salzburg country, the ORF, the Austrian radio, and the city of Oberndorf, where he lives. Project Neue Mundharmonika, that's mouth organ, in order to create a contemporary repertoire for harmonica in 1969, foundation of a duo Painted Harmony with a mouth organ and guitar. And they made 2 CD productions. In 2002, the foundation of Ensemble String Plus, and in 2003, he was artistic director of a Salzkammergut String Festival in Austria. His pedagogic work, master course guitar at the Conservatory Trondheim, Norway, and lecturer in the second Guitar Festival in Bad Reichenhall, Germany. Presentation of own educational works, and he is teaching at the Musicum Salzburg. Are you there? Ah, yeah, see you. Let's begin. It's your turn, Siegfried.
Hello, goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Siegfried Steinkogler. As a composer, I am especially dedicated to writing for young people, pieces for youth, for the youth, and for youth competitions. And I have written a method how for young players and young people how they could learn the basics about microtonal music, and this is what my lecture will be about. And in the second part of it, I will present you a composition of mine for young guitarists called Smaller Steps. As an introduction of my lecture, microtonality with its many equal tempered and non-equal tempered tone systems has grown to a big field in musicology over the last few decades. There is no need to enumerate the common tone systems, as we all know all of this. However, there seems to be a gap between theory and practice, which is getting bigger the more we are getting specialized in this cosmos of microtones. Especially for non-specialized interpreters, it might be hard to find an access to this fascinating world, and they may not know where to start with. Before dealing with tone systems of high complexity, it seems appropriate to start with easy exercises to learn at least some new pitches. For this reason, I created a method, kind of guideline, for young players who want to switch to playing microtonal music. This guideline I called Ludus microtonalis, in allusion to Hindemith's piano circle Ludus tonalis, written in 1942, although this allusion does not apply to the composer's postulated series of tone value, nor to his famous Harmonielehre, nor to any of his compositions or theoretical works. It was more or less the title that attracted me. As I am composer and guitarist, this guideline should appeal to guitarists and players of stringent instruments. Most of the examples I have explained on the guitar, but many of the ideas can easily be transferred to string instruments and also to wind and brass instruments. As in Bartók's Mikrokosmos, the methodology is not limited to interpretation on the instrument, but also extends into the field of composition. Ludus microtonalis is not finished by now. It might be called a work in progress. And as I intend to compose some more pieces for young players or beginners, the theoretical part of the work will be adapted accordingly. So let me start with the text of the method, and afterwards I will give an example of how to compose a guitar piece for young players using microtonal squadratura. Ludus microtonalis. Firstly, some necessary basics. Who plays a chromatic scale in the range of an octave on his instrument, divides the octave in 12 parts or semitone steps. With this material of 12 notes can be played most of the classic and romantic and even more recent repertoire. And though it is permissible to ask this question whether this chromatic 12-tone system exhausts all musical possibilities, for sure it does not. In theory, there are tones of infinite number in between every half-tone step. These notes are called microtones, and the quality of music using microtones in whatever combination is called microtonality. So far to the definition, to my definition of the term microtonality. I made a graphic of a chromatic scale because this is the starting point of Ludus microtonalis, this guideline for young people to learn about the basics of microtonality. The text continues as follows. These are the notes we have on our instruments, but how can we produce the pitches in between? How can we achieve microtones? The simplest way to achieve microtones is to use a tuner with a cent display. Microtones are measured in cents. A half-tone step consists of 100 cents, the entire octave 1,200 cents. If you have to tune the G string of your instrument or any other string, 33 cents higher or lower, you firstly have to tune the string to the exact pitch of G and then tune even higher or lower, according to the cent display on your tuner. The new pitch is a sixth of a tone higher or lower than the note G, than the G string. We use this procedure whenever we have to make a squadratura, which means tuning different to the normal tuning. Squadratura is most common to the fretted guitar, but also possible for any other stringent instrument. On the fretless string instruments like the violin, viola, violoncello, or double bass, there is a second possibility to produce microtones, that is to play the exact microtonal pitches between the chromatic half-tone steps. It takes some practice to hit the right pitch. The right pitch of a quarter tone is reached when the first quarter tone of a semitone is equal to the second quarter tone. This, of course, cannot be done without hearing exercise. Much more, it requires a good deal of ear training. Secondly, the quarter tone scale. There is another figure on my PowerPoint presentation showing a quarter tone scale. As the quarter tone scale may be the easiest system in the wide range of microtonality, we want to start with this one. The quarter tone system divides the half-tone step in two. This means the octave consists of 24 equal quarter tone intervals. Playing a series of consecutive quarter tones is called quarter tone chromatics in Ludus microtonalis, quarter tone chromatics, a term I invented It is recommended for string instruments to practice quarter tone chromatics without scordatura on one string upwards or downwards. The quarter tones must be intoned exactly by ear, right in the middle of E and F and F sharp and G, and so on. For the guitar, on the other hand, retuning single strings is an effective means of achieving exact microintervals. Bending, which is particularly widespread in light music, means the increase in pitch by pulling the string and is effective, but rather inexpedient as a means of generating exact pitches. On the concert harp, which has its own string for each diatonic step, microtonality is generated with the help of scordatura anyway. Of course, the harp also allows the manual changing of strings by a quarter tone, but quarter tone chromatics is not possible on the harp due to its diatonic structure. The creation of quarter tones using scordatura on the guitar. The easiest way to produce quarter tones on the guitar is to tune up one of the middle strings 50 cents higher. I have done this on this guitar. I have tuned the G string a quarter tone higher. There is a way to make a test if the pitch is correct on the guitar. I can play 5th fret on D, which is the normal G. Now the G that's a quarter tone higher, and then on the D string, G flat, and then again the microtone, the quarter tone. Seems that the G string got higher. One of the problems of the guitar, sometimes it goes out of tune. But I think the idea was clear. Yes, for the young players, I wrote furthermore, as a rule of thumb for the hearing test applies. If a string is tuned a quarter tone higher, the test must be carried out one string lower at the 5th and 6th fret. On the B string, this would be 4th and 5th fret respectively. If the string is tuned a quarter tone lower, the test must be executed 1 fret lower. To achieve quarter tone chromatics on the guitar, it is advisable to tune the G string a quarter tone higher. This in turn happens with a tuner, with a send display or an app, like we did before. The quarter tone interval can also be tuned by ear. The G on the D string, 5th fret, the open G string to be tuned, and G sharp on the D string, like I explained before, are played alternately. The right tuning is only achieved when both quarter tone steps are equal. Now, there's another figure 4 on my PowerPoint presentation, which shows whole quarter tone chromatic, starting with the note B. On the guitar, there's a special fingering. It's the same tuning as before. The G string is tuned up 1 quarter tone higher. And on figure 4, we see the scale begins with B, open string, and then the quarter tone is always on the G string. B again, G again. and with a shifting fingering, we can play the entire quarter tone scale. I could go higher. That's B again. Well, the text in Ludus, Ludus Microtonalis continues as follows. Even if the quarter tones are produced with a digital aid, an audio test should often be carried out on the respective string instrument. Why? On the one hand, because string instruments can easily go out of tune, and on the other hand, because in this way our hearing is more and more sensitized to microtones. This will help later to distinguish even smaller microintervals. Quarter tone chromatics can also be created on other adjacent strings. On the guitar, however, the fingerings become larger because the other pairs of strings are tuned in fourths and not like G and B with a major third part. As stated before, the quarter tone system, 24 equally tempered division of the octave, is the easiest way to start dealing with microtones. However, using a sixth of a tone system of 36 equal pitches is more pleasable in respect of its sound possibilities. This means we have to tune one or more strings 33 higher or lower than the common pitch. Just check it out. We can proceed in the same way as we did by producing quarter tones. We tune a G string sixth of a tone higher or lower and compare the note with a D on the fifth and sixth fret. That's like it was before. Now, I give, and that was the text of Ludus Microtonalis, my guideline for beginners. Now, I'd like to give 3 examples of tunings of squadraturas on the guitar that I used in my own composition. In my composition with pedagogical approach, smaller steps for guitar solo, I used a combination of 3 microtonally tuned strings, each one in intervals of a sixth of a tone. The exact tuning is as follows. There, I think there is again slide. In this tuning, the 3 bass strings are tuned normal tuning for E, A, and D. G string is tuned up 1/6 of a tone higher, B string 1/6 of a tone lower, and E is tuned down to D sharp plus 1/6 of a tone. D sharp plus 33 cents. To say it right, well, now we're going to listen to my composition of smaller steps. I hope this works. Just leave me a few seconds. A few seconds more. Okay. Okay. I will try to play it live. Okay, I will try to play it live on my guitar. This was the guitar piece, Smaller Steps, piece of my own. I was writing for youth competitions. I think it was clear to hear how I'm writing for the guitar when I write for young people, not too difficult structures, easy ideas, no long and difficult developments, some ideas and not too much. Even when using virtuoso structures, I chose figurations that can easily be done on the guitar. Very important thing when composing for young people, so that they really can concentrate on what they play and do not so have to think so much on this and that. And yeah. Okay, I have another, or so, a few aspects more. To say it right away, it is hard to obtain all 36 pitches of a sixth of a tone system on one guitar. I mean, it's hardly impossible. It can be done if you use more guitars. In my composition, Das Leben vom das Beste vom Leben, the best of life, I invented a special tuning which allows to play all consecutive sixths of a tones, at least from parts of the chromatic scale. That's from D1 to A1 and from E2 up to B2. This way of tuning, I call it tuning in levels, uses the following scollatura. E6, the low E string, is plus 66 cents, and also the G string, and also the okay, once again, I think there is, yes, there is the slide, and you can see it on the screen. The tuning is so that it is possible to play on 3 different pitches. That's a normal pitch, a chromatic one, the pitch of 2 strings, which are tuned a sixth of a tone higher, 33 cents higher, and 2 more strings, which are tuned 66 cents high. So here we have 3 pitches on which the music is going on. The same kind of tuning I used in my latest composition, Silent Nights, globally, for viola, double bass, and 2 guitars. In this case, I had both E strings of viola and double bass tuned a sixth of a tone higher, and both D strings a sixth of a tone lower. Additionally, all 4 E strings of the 2 guitars have to be tuned a 33 cents higher too. This way of tuning again allows to play the same melodies or structures at 3 different pitches. It should not be concealed that there is an easier way to produce microtones on the guitar. This is by using 2 guitars. Guitar 1 may be tuned like normal, and guitar 2 a quarter tone higher or lower. The result is a perfect framework for playing or composing in the quarter tone system for guitars. By using 3 guitars, each one tuned a 33 cent higher than the other, we accomplish a perfect sixth of a tone system with all its possible 36 pitches. To realize Richter Herf's Melik tone system of 72 equally tempered steps, we would need 5 guitars respectively. The disadvantage of this kind of tuning arrangement is obvious. Only the result is microtonal, whereas each player has to play in the normal tuning without using microtones, as it does not matter if the pitch is a 33 or a 66 cents higher or not. By studying his part, the musician cannot learn anything about microtonality, nor can he improve his oral abilities. Ear training is hardly possible as long as there is no microtones in your own guitar part. So that's the reason why I keep on experimenting with scollatura for 1 guitar. I think players, even young players, can learn more because they are forced to hear the microtones. What is not possible when playing in an ensemble of guitars, where each guitar is tuned on a different pitch. Yes, that's the end of my lecture. And maybe there is some question or not. The moment I can hear anything. Johannes, can you hear me? Seems I have a technical problem now.
I can.
Okay. Okay, it seems you can hear me, but I cannot hear you.
I can hear
Oh,
you, Siegfried.
can you? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but maybe there's with Agustín is something's wrong technically.
Oh, this could be.
Yeah.
But I think Agustín and our colleague Johannes Pucci, I think he cannot hear me.
We can.
So there is no.
Now
Oh,
they came up.
now I see. Hello, Johannes.
We should go to questions. We have only 7 minutes left. I mean, in 2 minutes to question, that at least we have 5 minutes questions. Please.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. It was great to hear, to listen to your lecture, especially when you work with children. And it seems not so difficult, I think. And what is your experience and practice with little children and older? Can you hear
You
me?
mean the piece I played?
No, not the piece when you are teaching these kind of
Yes.
Atura and
Yes. One remark. Let me make one remark about it. The difficult thing was, of course, not the contents. The contents is clear for us all. The difficult thing was how to put it in words, in easy words, the explanations and all that. I was thinking a lot about each sentence, not of course about the quarter tone chromatics nor sixth of a tone system, which is all a clear thing for us, for any professional, for any microtonalist, let's say. But it was a challenge for me to put it down for young people. Clear thoughts, easy thoughts. You know what I mean?
That is what is the meaning of what they will say with children when you play such chromatic quarter tones. Do they accept this, or is it something new, but that they don't like it? They are not accustomed to that.
Some do, and many don't.
That's it.
Some do, and many don't. That's a thing of what listening habits
yes.
The student or the pupils have. Are they can they tune a guitar without a tuner, you know, just by ear. That's the starting point, I'd say. Because otherwise they cannot understand what is a microtone. They have to be able to play the chromatic scale. That's the first thing. And the second is they have to hear if a semitone is tuned correct in a correct way. No matter if it's I'd say an equal tempered tone. What I was talking about was not geometric divisions. I was talking about equal tempered steps, like the chromatic scale, dividing in for 24 equal, parts, and as a second step, dividing into 36 equal parts. And to hear this, the let's say it the conditions they have to bring with is to hear a semitone. Then you can start with quarter tones. And of course there are players who are interested. We have already had a few performances of microtonal pieces, and I think the interest is increasing. So let's hope we can find more and more young players who play microtonal pieces like these.
So it would be best to teach that microtones in the way Franz Richter helped it with his Kulturvereinigung orchestra. And he said that's a semitone and that's placed between these both pitches. How many pitches can get in? Of course, a quarter tone and two sixth tones. And that's a way you can convince your pupils, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Yes, that's the way it is done.
I hope you will succeed. We will have many pupils that will play in microtones and even your compositions. And congratulations to that.
Actually, we have 7 minutes.
Thanks a lot.
We have?
Yeah, that was my mistake.
It was a mistake.
Yeah.
We have 7 minutes to discuss again. You had the wrong clock.
Oh, that's fine.
Fine, we have 7 minutes too. So I would ask the questions to Siegfried. Special questions for educating, for playing the guitar, for its scoratura, notation. We didn't speak about notation. Yeah, we will write in scoratura, of course.
You're right.
Otherwise, they cannot understand this.
You're right. You're right, but maybe you could see it on the slides on the screen. I used the normal the normal accidentials with either arrow up or arrow down, as it's not necessary for young people to confuse them with many signs or marks. You know what I mean? It's enough to make the accidental plus arrow up or arrow down, and you could write its quarter tones, or you could write its sixth of a tones. So this seems to be more easy for young players.
Perhaps another question that's interesting me when I educated piano playing, the parents of the children often did not agree the pieces I have chosen, especially when it was contemporary music. And what's your experience with such music, and especially the microtonal music and the parents?
Well, as you know, I have a daughter, Clara Steinkogler. 2 years ago, in my lecture, she was playing a microtonal piece, and she started to do it in an early age, at young age. So she has already performed for some times, maybe not many times, but at least a few times, microtonal music of mine. And there was another performance of two guitarists. This was in Prima la Musica, which is a youth competition in Austria. And they got first prize. They were awarded first prize. I was very proud of them and of me. Not students of mine. It was Christian Heimel. Don't know if anybody knows him. He's a good Austrian guitarist, very competent and also a good teacher. He has taught his students my microtonal piece, Jeu du Langage, for two guitars. And this performance was only 2 years ago, I think. Last year we had lockdowns, 3 lockdowns, and no activities.
But it's a real progress, even when the jury did accept this music.
Oh, yes, they did. They did.
That's a real progress in Austrian music.
Yes, and that's my field of research, of my and also for my activities as teacher. That's what I want. I want to interest more and more young people for this, for microtonal music. And therefore I was thinking of a guideline, how to show them, to give them an idea of what is done in microtonal music.
I hope there will be other teachers in the music schools which accept this music, and we will teach it. And I think you're kind of working with these your instrument, the guitar, is not difficult. I think everybody can go on learning these scoratura playing and listening to the pitches and the differences of small pitches, of course. And Siegfried, I want to ask a last question around. Is there somebody going to ask you? Otherwise, we will finish now. I think in time now. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Agustín? What's your opinion? I didn't ask you.
Sorry, I had to. Sorry, I needed to take a little break after my own class. It's been a lot of work
but you know
today.
The kind of
this week.
working with pupils of children.
Yes. I mentioned before how the experiences with the guitar players who played my microtonal music for the first time, and very, very positive experiences. And actually, so it's congratulations, Siggy.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much for your work.
And much success for your work. Common success.
Yes, good luck. And so
thank you.
I don't want to take the
thank you so much
from you. We should go to you have yes.
Thank you.
And thank you, Siegfried.
Thank you, Siegfried. Thank you. That's great. We will continue, and next is Caroline Delume from France. The theme she has chosen is flexibility of sound spaces in Francisco Luque's music. And I want to greet Francisco Luque. He is here. Hello?
Yes, yes, yes.
Hello, Francisco. Fine to be with us. Also, Francisco Luque's music for plucked instruments. Want to present Caroline Delume. She is guitarist and theorist of the instrument. Caroline Delume's repertoire includes soloist music as well as chamber and orchestral music. She collaborates with composers, conductors, singers, instrumentalists, sound engineers, and plays with the ensembles specialized in ancient and contemporary music. She has premiered works dedicated to her for solo guitar and solo theorbo by Jean-Pascal Chenier, Pascal Criton, Christopher Fox, Karim Haddad, Pascal Jakubowski, José Manuel López López, Mario Lorenzo, Francisco Luque, Clara Maida, Florentine Mulsan, and Frank Yeznikian. She is currently continual player of a Baroque orchestra, Le Concert Spirituel, as well as of ensemble La Tempesta. Caroline Delume teaches first sight reading at the Conservatoire National Supérieur de Musique et de Danse de Paris, and guitar and improvisation at the Conservatoire à Rayonnement Régional de Versailles. It's great to have you with us, Caroline Delume. It's your turn now.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Thank you for inviting me to speak about Francisco Luque's music. Do you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
That's okay. Francisco Luque was born in Madrid in 1954, and I met him in 1988. We met at Boulet's workshop in the south of France. After this meeting, we have done a lot of music together. So Francisco Luque has a formation as a guitar player and a compositor with Luis de Pablo, especially in Madrid Conservatory. And he lives in Paris right now. And he lives in Paris from 1987. Is this okay with the video?
We see you, but we don't see a PowerPoint or when you want to share something.
I will share some documents to present you this work. So,
there's a little box like audio sharing and video sharing, 2 little boxes normally. We normally forget, all of us forget to tick sometimes.
So I try another one. So Francisco Luque wrote a thesis on harmony aujourd'hui. The harmony today, acoustic space, timbre, and register in instrumental music. It's important about his music to think that this point is very important for him. What is harmony today, and what link between harmony and acoustic timbre and register. I would like to show you something which is on my, I think it's okay now.
Perfect.
Not
Thank you.
yet. Do you see
The catalog.
yes?
Wow. Impressive, yeah.
Very impressive. We know each other for more than 30 years, and you can see the pieces for plucked instruments, not only guitar, because
For you, written for you.
oh, no, not only me, but sometimes yes. His search for sonorities led him to compose for unusual instruments or combinations. There are many works for guitar and for plucked instruments. His music requires different tunings. Sometimes it's written for 24 equal temperament system, with a great focus on physical resonances, in particular force increased by a quarter tone. This is a physical force. It's a 11th partial with the 11th harmonic. Yes. The very first piece with a quarter tone in his music is de 1 pour 6 fois 10 in 1990 for 60 guitars. It was for children, and I would like to share a little bit a video to show you this piece. It's written for 2 groups of 30 guitars. It's 30 at a normal pitch and 30 at a quarter tone lower. Indeed, the question is how to reach quarter tones on the guitar. There are several possibilities, and the first one is to compose a piece for ensemble. Let's listen to this. Okay.
Yeah, the sound quality in Carolina is not great, actually. Very bad.
Thirty lines, and sorry. and many times it's very free. There are just notes. Everybody mix this material freely. After this piece in 1990, Luque composed another piece with the same principle for 12 flutes, and then he composed a solo piece for violin, which is important in his aesthetic, because it was the first time a solo instrument in his music was playing with quarter tones. And after we can speak about Guitarphonia, which is a piece for 10 guitars. Sorry, I forgot the screen. Here we are. So this is the two pieces for ensemble, and this one for 10 guitars from 1997. You can see some of the strings are tuned a quarter tone up. Only some of the strings, and we have the cluster sometimes not here because the low strings are not with quarter tone. We are going to listen a little bit this piece.
Excuse me, Caroline, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes?
I believe we hear through the computer. Probably the sound quality is better if when you share screen, there's a little box to tick share computer sound. So I believe that the sound quality will improve. Could you try that, please, to make sure? Thank you. Here in this very little box at the bottom part, two little boxes.
And connect this. Share.
Yes, I did it.
And maybe the sound was, maybe it's just the recording. Oh, I wanted to make sure, sorry.
Let's try another one. Do you see the quadraturas?
Yes.
So
Thank you.
these are, after this piece in ensemble, Francisco Luque began to write with the scordatura of each instrument, and this scordatura is very, very important. You can see it's only fourth plus the quarter tone. It's very equilibrated, and we have the physical fifth between each string. With this tuning, there are many pieces for one guitar, and sometimes with flute, or sometimes with two guitars here, but the second guitar has another tuning which completes the first one. There are also another tuning with a quarter-tone guitar. This is for this piece is Abias, Gemido, and Espacio. You can see it's a guitar with 24 frets by octave, with 2 sixths strings, 2 fifths, and 2 fourths strings. So this chord is very different and low, very low. I'm going to show you. I hope you will listen to the music. I would like to. So, at first, I show you the score. So it's written in tablature, of course, because it's very difficult to remember the fingerings without a tablature. And the rhythm is always, quasi always, like this, with some free choice of phrasing. There are clusters like this, and this piece is for guitar with electronic sounds. There are some gestures like this. So I hope we can hear now. let's listen to L'Oiseau Rare, which is the first piece for 2 guitars. So this is a music very fluid with contrasts, and I will show you another piece with the same scordatura as shown before. Amartuli, the first piece for it's 7 pieces for guitar solo. So we can listen to the first movement with the score, which is useful, I think. There are many pieces, and I would like to show you a piece for bandurria, which is a Spanish kind of mandolin. It's a piece for bandurria solo with an ensemble, and there are two bandurrias in one player, but two bandurrias. Let's see the the scordatura here. So it's there are some scordaturas for some works. Donc, the banduria is here, and you can see it's an instrument with 6 strings, and the scordatura is the same as for the guitar soloist. It's with the first plus a quarter tone. So here, the soprano and the bar. It's like the bass of the violin and the bass of the violoncello. You can see here other scordaturas for piece for mandolin or a piece for theorbo. And let's listen to a part of alterno canto for banduria and ensemble. It's not clear. Sorry, I can't find it. I can't find it. So let's listen to another piece. I don't understand. A piece for solo guitar, once more. Estudio de sonoridades for the kind of tuning. I'm not sure you listened very well.
Yes, we did actually.
Because I don't have great sound here. I don't. Let's try with alterno canto. It's the this is the end of the piece. There are some minutes more, but it's very low in the basses with flute bass, clarinet bass, and bandoria bass. And, there are many. It's like a mountain with I don't know. So I would like to talk about the very last piece for guitar, which is AB, which is written for guitar with adjustable frets. I would like to see to show you the guitar. So there is this possibility of tuning each note with a small fret which is adjustable, and this the scordatura is with the harmonics of the bass, which is A, E.
Excuse me, Caroline, could we go to questions like in 2 minutes, please?
Yes?
Could we go to the question section in 2 minutes, please?
Ah, yes. Yes. I didn't show
Thank you.
Just a moment to show you the piece, which is AB, and after we go to the question, please. Here. So I try to share and to listen to it from the beginning. Okay. I was going to explain you everything about this piece, but it's very.
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, we are very curious. Please go ahead.
We have time.
Yes, I share the score. The score. Yes, it's better like this to show you. Here. So it's in memoriam a friend, a very nice friend, guitarist. And the scordatura is with you can see here, it's with the natural harmonics, and then you can see the fretage. Each fret, there is 120 frets to put on the right pitch. There are some systems about the harmonics of the E and then the harmonics on the fifth strings and then the harmonics of each of the strings. So there is a system with a different level of harmonics. The result is 29 pitches in an octave, and sometimes very, very, very consonant. And there is a tablature, so you can see there is a kind of free rhythm, very, very calm, flexible, expressive. So it's okay for me.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Francisco Luque. I believe he's with us. Oh, sorry, I don't want to.
No, you know him. He gave a very good introduction into the work of Francisco Luque, and as I'm not a guitar player, I did not hear a lot of his works, but I'm deeply impressed, especially from solo works like the last AB. And I had the impression first, to begin with a discussion, that it's better to prefer not so much instruments like 60 guitars at once, for they all are tuned not just equal, and the one begins earlier and the other starts later. So it's a compound of everything. But when you play Abias, for example, or Martulli, that was excellent works, I think, and good to understand, and how Francisco Luque composes. Thank you very much for this impression I've got, and I hope others will got impressions too, and will share it now. For we have four minutes
yeah,
to discuss,
yeah.
And
yeah. That Francisco Luque composed for other instruments, not only for the guitar.
Not only, yeah, but
you can go to his website.
Yes, it will. I'm curious, yeah, and so I would now ask your impressions, or to tell the impressions from the others in the round. Is there somebody going to speak now?
Any questions
in
the group?
But
Otherwise, Caroline, I'm very curious about your sensations with different ways of using the quarter tones. Do you have any preferences? And also historically, it's also very interesting how the composer keeps doing new things. What is your? Do you have any preferences? Any?
As a guitarist, I like to discover many kind of universe. Each composer, Pascal Criton, Francisco Luque, or Klaus Lang, or I don't know, many.
Yeah. I also have a lot of works for microtonal guitar. Yeah, myself.
Yes, I know. I like to play everything, which is very different, and in my mind is a very rich world. I also play sometimes in semitones.
Yes, I think, of course, what I was saying before, I mean, I understood this perfectly from the music of Francisco Luque, that at the end, every composition needs a particular microtonal plan, probably, depending on what you want to develop, how you want to use the guitar. So, I mean, I just said this 2 hours ago, and yeah, of course, I see this in another composer. It's very nice to see it this way. And yeah, I mean, I tried to look for one CD. I had a long time in Spain when I was in Sevilla studying. I think it was at the end of the 80s with your CD playing Francisco Luque. I think other composers, I don't remember. And this CD, unfortunately, a lot of boxes from old stuff I have kept in somewhere, and there's no way I can access them now. Otherwise, I mean, I thought of, I tried what I have here, but I couldn't reach this CD at least to remember these sensations.
Yes, I think we can hear it on the web.
Yes, yeah. It was also something personal, like my old period in Sevilla, kind of melancholic. Yeah, it was.
You know, it was more than 20 years ago.
Yes.
You see, Francisco Luque has written lots of pieces and very different pieces.
Yes, more than 30, right? More than 30?
Only.
Okay, we try to count before. Yeah, Johannes and me, yeah.
I didn't talk about his pieces for Theodore, but it's fantastic.
Yes, too.
Yes. I mean, you need 2 hours, 3 hours at least, yeah. I mean, it's a long list. You have to focus.
To explain everything, but it was too short.
Yes. Any questions in the round? Oh, sorry, it's your
No, you're right. Yes. Are there any questions around? Some remarks?
I could say that my friend Wim Hogeberg and Didier Achour plays Francisco music. I will play together for the duets and the quartets.
Yeah, so Francisco Luque still plays guitar.
Yes, but he prefers that other people play.
Yes, I understand him. Yes. Yeah. Okay, otherwise, if no more questions, we would like to thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline.
Congratulations. Thank you for sharing, and to say hello to Mr. Francisco Luque. And we will go now to the first break.
A short interruption.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Caroline.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
We have a break now. It's 3 o'clock, and we meet again at 3:30 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.